as we were discussing the recollection and the autobiographical account of the writer Ashoka Mitram in the chapter Poets and Pancakes of your textbook Flamingo. As I mentioned in the previous video, that Ashoka Mitram was a famous Tamil writer and Sahitya Academy Award winner, and he recollects his years in the Gemini studios, where he had the clerical job of cutting and taking newspaper clippings about relevant matters and keeping them in his department. Now everyone thought that he had no job because he read the newspaper all day, but actually what he was doing was collecting material as and when it was required. So he, in his sense of, he has a very good sense of humor, and he talks about the film industry and how life was at the Gemini studios, where the most popular brand of makeup was the Pancakes foundation that was used, and these people used to work under very harsh lights. The shooting used to take place for long hours, so people would stand there sweating away but still looking perfect for that perfect look in the camera. After which, he talks about a situation of national integration. He says the film industry, there was no difference in people segregating from each other. There was complete unity in diversity because everyone was there and they came from different backgrounds. But when it came to the film industry, they were here to fulfill their dreams, however big or small they were. And this led them to unite and to work for a common cause. Today also, if we look at the film industry, and if you especially look at the Indian film industry, I would say, you will find that we have technicians, we have artists, we have writers, we have everyone who is from different backgrounds. And yet you can see that they are all together performing for the Indian cinema that we have, and we are all very proud of it because it is something that's put forward as achievements also in the entertainment industry. So there again, national integration is a very important aspect that the writer is talking about. Now going further, he shares his thoughts about the makeup that was used by different actresses, and he brings up the name of Vaijanti Mala and other well-known actresses who used this makeup. He further talks about another person over there who was the office boy. He was no longer a boy, he was 40. And at the age of 40 also, he was struggling, and he blamed another character in the studio who was number 2, Kotha Mangalam Subbu. But the writer has only praises for him. Ashoka Mitra says he was a very, very good person, very helpful, and at the same time a thorough professional. Then he talks about the legal advisor. And the legal advisor, how he lost his job, even though he was just there for his basic work, and he was clubbed with the story department. So when the story department was disbanded, the legal advisor also loses his job. And that time you will see that communism was at its peak. And so Frank Buchanan was a very well-known person who was taking part in the moral rearmament. So his group was known as the Moral Rearmament Army, which meant that it was bringing back the values of a family. So they arrived with their troop in Chennai, and they were entertained by the Gemini studios. And that time communism was at its peak. And so Frank Buchanan's army, or Moral Rearmament Army, wanted to bring back moral values and family values, whereas communism was exactly the opposite of it. Communism would talk about a person just being an individual in society where everything belongs to the state. However, socialism, capitalism were values completely opposed to it. Many of you students are students of political science. You have studied this, and you in fact are probably studying this also at the time we speak. So you would understand the difference. Communism as a movement was not very successful, and that is one of the reasons why the erstwhile USSR broke up into several small countries. Also, as you can see in our country also, communism is not very, very popular. However, it still there exists, and there is a certain section of society which does believe in it. So now let us come back to Frank Buchanan's Moral Rearmament Army. They performed at the Gemini Studios, and it was greatly appreciated by the Tamil drama community, who took some styles of their performances in their movies. And so Gemini Studios was one of the few studios in Madras who hosted foreign dignitaries. And so poets like Stephen Spender also delivered lectures over there. Now, at that time, the educated people in India had not a lot of knowledge about what Stephen Spender was doing, and you know, they had no idea so much. I mean, the rest of the folk, but the educated people over there were aware of communism and they supported it. So, Gemini Studios also was one of those studios which supported communism. And so all these years, Stephen Spender comes to them and he speaks to them and he talks to them in the studio. He was hosted by them. But at the same time, no one understood what he was saying. So whatever he came and said did not make sense to any of the people because none of them could speak English. They could speak Tamil. And it is only after years of this visit of Stephen Spender that Ashoka Mitram, when buying books in a particular stall, sees him and recognizes him. And Stephen Spender was one of the advocates for communism, and so he was not very successful at that time. So communism's flaws, the problems that existed in the concept of communism were exposed, and as a result of which communism did not really go very far. But Stephen Spender supported it and believed in it. So these were some of the few key points here that were mentioned to us. So I want you to watch these two videos that I'm posting because I'm explaining to you a summary of this. Along with this, I will be sending you the questions, etc., what you have to do. Please do that diligently and stay focused. Thank you so much. This is the end of your class.